The war ended above the surface. Flags were lowered, orders were signed, guns went silent. But somewhere beneath the sea, a ship remained on station. One of its guns is still trained forward. Its hatches are closed. Its deck shows no sign of withdrawal. Down there, steel did not celebrate peace. It waited. No surrender signal followed. No recovery was attempted. No record confirms that anyone on board was told to stand down. Because for this ship, the end of the war never arrived. What happens to a vessel when the order to stop fighting is never received and no one comes to retrieve it? In the final months of the Second World War, not every battlefield ended cleanly. As governments negotiated surrender, naval operations continued across oceans still governed by wartime procedures. Communication lines fractured, command chains dissolved unevenly. Orders that ended the war for some units arrived late, or not at all, for others. This ship belonged to that final, unstable phase. It was not built for ceremony or return. It was designed to remain operational until explicitly ordered otherwise. Until then, stopping was not an option. Its crew followed procedures meant for a world still at war. Maintain readiness, hold position, wait for confirmation. A ship cannot surrender on its own. Every action on board depends on an instruction arriving from somewhere else. If that instruction never comes, procedure becomes a trap. Records indicate this vessel was still deployed as surrender terms were being announced elsewhere, still operating within a command structure that, on paper, was already gone. The last confirmed log entry ends abruptly, mid-entry, without explanation. After that, there is only absence. No transmission confirms receipt of surrender orders. No document proves the crew knew peace had been declared. Only that contact was lost. And when this ship finally came to rest, it did so in a posture that suggests nothing had changed, as if the war had simply failed to reach it. The descent begins slowly. Light fades first, then color, then sound. As the ROV moves deeper, the ocean grows heavier, not violent, but absolute. Water presses in from every direction, carrying decades of silence with it. There are no currents here, only suspended time. The seabed appears without ceremony, and then, emerging from the darkness, the shape of a ship. It is not collapsed, it is not scattered, it does not lie broken in retreat. The hull rests upright, balanced, aligned. Sediment coats the steel evenly, undisturbed. The bow faces forward. One gun remains fixed along its original bearing, as if the moment it was last aimed never ended. Safety pins are still in place. Warning placards remain bolted to the steel. There are no blast patterns consistent with chaos, no signs of dismantling, no evidence of a vessel preparing to leave. This is not how abandoned ships usually look. As the ROV circles, details sharpen. Railings remain intact, antennas bend but do not break. Hatches are sealed, not blown open, not forced, but closed from the inside. The ship does not appear defeated, it appears paused. An entry point comes into view, a hatch along the superstructure, edges softened by corrosion, but still recognizably functional. No debris blocks the way, no emergency markings surround it. The ROV slips inside. The interior swallows the light. Passageways narrow. Steel walls close in. Dust drifts with each movement, settling again as if even disturbance here is temporary. Everything inside suggests readiness, not aftermath. Whatever happened to this ship, it did not arrive like an ending. It arrived like an interruption. The first compartment opens into living space. Bunks line the walls in precise rows. Blankets lie folded where they were last placed, edges stiff with mineral growth. Personal lockers remain closed. No signs of haste, no signs of panic. The ROV moves on. A mess area follows. Metal tables are bolted to the deck, their surfaces worn smooth by years of use before the sea arrived. Cups rest where hands once reached for them. Everything is secured, not abandoned mid-motion, but left in order. Further inside, the character of the ship changes. This is no longer a place for rest. Control spaces remain intact. Dials are fixed on their last readings. Switches are set, not flipped. A chart table stands at the center of the compartment, its surface warped but recognizable. Beneath the sediment, routes are still visible, courses that were never completed. Weapons stations appear next. Ammunition racks are stocked. Casings remain nested in place. Nothing here suggests a crew that stood down. There is no evidence of deactivation, no sign that the ship was transitioning to peace. Every space encountered reflects the same condition: ready, waiting, unreleased. Nothing here suggests permission was ever given to stop. Then, near the edge of a compartment, the ROV almost passes without notice. Something interrupts the uniformity of steel. A small object, half hidden beneath debris. The camera adjusts. It does not belong to the ship. The ROV slows. A notebook rests against the bulkhead, its cover swollen, its edges frayed. The pages inside are fused together by time and salt, but faint lines remain visible beneath the growth. This was not equipment. It was not issued. It belonged to someone. It was meant to be opened again. There are no legible words, no names to read, no message preserved. The ROV holds position for a moment longer than necessary. Then it moves on. The artifact does not explain what happened here. It does not resolve the mystery. It confirms only one thing with absolute clarity. This ship was not empty when the war failed to reach it. Above the surface, the world moved on. Ports reopened. Ships were decommissioned. The war was assigned an ending, a date, a signature on paper. But down here, none of that arrived. This vessel never received permission to stand down. No order released it from duty. No voice told it the war was over. So it remained, not in defiance, but in silence. The ocean did not mark the moment. It simply closed around the ship and kept it exactly as it was, preserving a version of the war that never reached its conclusion. Somewhere between orders given and orders received, time stopped. And if you choose to stay with these stories, to return to places where history was never properly dismissed, there are more echoes waiting in the deep. Not answers, only remembrance, and echoes that refuse to fade.